Hey everybody, this is Kelly of Rojo Chief Clothing, and as you see right here, this is my Instagram, and I'm going to click on my link tree. That's going to send you to all of my links: Anchor.fm, the YouTube channel that you already know about, my online clothing store, and my Facebook page, so you can follow me. Alright, so Anchor.fm, that's my podcast. So stories or news that I'm not going to post on YouTube, you can find them on my podcast, and you can listen to them on Spotify and also on Breaker and other, podcasts. Okay. Then, as you may or may not know, this is my online clothing store where you can find fashions on here for men, women, kids, and babies. So let's get ready for the show. Okay, so this is Reuben Swinburne Clymer, Mysticism of Masonry, the Mysticism of Masonry, okay, from the Hermetic Academy Library. Okay, it says the cradle of symbolism utilized in all Masonic work is placed by many authoritative writers in that country which they have reason to believe was first inhabited, the plateau of Tartary. From there, the teaching was transmitted later by the sages of India, Persia, Ethiopia, and Egypt to their respective countries. In fact, it is a fact that at Memphis, Egypt, in the pyramids under the guidance of the king initiates, the mystic rites of what later became to be known as the Oriental Masonry were observed many thousands years ago. At that far time, to us, Egypt and the continent now known as America were one and the same. So they're saying that Egypt and America is one and the same. And what the previous video that I made, it was talking about the masonry that was in, that the Mayans had, and how they went over to Cambodia and they built the pyramids over there, and how there is a connection between Atlantis and the Mayans, and also the Mayans in Egypt, and how the ancient Egyptians said that they came from ancient America, which by the Masons is called Atlantis. Okay, so that's the connection between those two cultures. So now it says here, therefore we actually are not indebted to the Egypt as we know her at present. When he says Egypt at present, he's talking about the one that's in Africa. He says, but to America, the home of the eagle and the possessor of the capstone, which is to finish the Masonic spiritual structure of all time. Now the capstone that they're talking about the all-seeing eye that you see on the back of the dollar bill. It says, though anciently the mysteries were presided over by the priests, initiates, or initiate kings, nevertheless the mystic rite was open to all men who from their hearts could confess belief in the fatherhood of one God and the brotherhood of all men, and who were able to convince the initiators that they were full men without defect, which proviso, the ancient law informs us, had no reference to the loss of hand or foot, finger or toe, but the viral manhood capable of reproduction of species, and consequently still in the possession of the elixir vitae, though which only spiritual initiation and conscious immortalization finally may be attained. The letter still obtains an esoteric modern masonry, but the spirit long since had been dead. In America, rediscovered by Eric the Red, a Viking of the Vikings, repopulated by the white race, beginning the 17th century, was recovered that part of Egypt, the promised land, or the land of the constellation of the eagle, Parsons' new light from the Great Pyramid, irrespective of how numerous or complicated the wards of the lock may be. If the right key be applied, it must open. The Great Pyramid of ancient Egypt, studied and compared with the wondrous structure of like nature in the Yucatan, talking about the pyramids over here, that the Mayans built. It says, proves to be long sought key to the mysteries of mythology and the great world religion. Especially does it vitally concern those Americans with interests aside from profiteering and the exploitation of the weak, which is at present the universal gain, to see it gradually demonstrated that the story of cosmic terror interwoven with the very fabric of literature, both Christian and pagan, refers to occurrences as literally true as are the fearful and devastating earthquakes in modern times of those of California and Japan are examples. These stupendous events were connected first with a great destruction and recovery of equilibrium in the solar system. Secondly, the consequent sinking of the Atlantis, part of which remains as part of America. Okay, so he clarified that Atlantis is a part of America, which I had stated in my previous videos that I did concerning the ancient Egyptians and my playlist that I have that's talking about Mayan masonry. So, okay, it's mentioned in there. It says, when the globe became involved in consequence of the defiance by the Atlanteans of natural and divine law. Atlantis then was the seat of the greatest empire ever known to man, and its armies were terrorizing the rest of the inhabited globe. A study of American constellations Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn reveals the immemorial antiquity of the name of America, as well as the significance of the arms of the United States. If we once recognize the fact that it is impossible to separate the eagle from America, the land shadowing with wings of Isaiah, and over which accordingly appear two grand eagles, the red swan flying down Milky Way, and the winged steeds Pegasus and Equales, all the wings known to astronomy. Without taking the bear from Russia and Perseus from Persia, the flood of light is poured upon the history of mythology, and where heretofore much can be vague and instructible, we now are able to see, as men should see, who are gifted with enlightened mentalities. So, okay, so I'm going to pause it right there. So basically, what he's saying is that the seal of America, with it being the eagle, that's because of the constellation of the eagle is above America. And that, which was previously mentioned, was also that this is Eagle Land, the land of the eagles, America, and that Atlantis is sunk, but it was a part of America. And that what the Mason is saying is that they're saying that they owe their Masonic teachings and sciences and mathematics, that they owe it to Egypt of the West, aka Atlantis, which is America, and not the Egypt that exists in the East. These are the sarcophaguses of ancient Egypt, and as you see here, they are reddish brown, just like how we are reddish brown. And it's very interesting that they said that they came from Atlantis, which we now know today is America, and that Atlantis had went down in the water. Okay, and right here, this is an image of a mummy that was at the Detroit Institute of Arts. And as you see here, this is the mummy that they have at the DIA. And with the mummy, there's also in the room canopic jars, 4 of them, of which the organs of the deceased had went into. And here you have the Chinchorro mummies. Chinchorro mummies are mummified remains of individuals from South American Chinchorro culture found in what is now Chile, northern Chile. They are the oldest examples of artificially mummified human remains having been buried up to 2,000 years before the Egyptian mummies. And this is something that's culturally that you see that is similar to what the ancient Egyptians have did with their deceased people, which is mummification. Okay, so that's a connection too between both of the cultures, and why I feel there's legitimacy between what the ancient Egyptians said to the ancient Greeks, that they came from the oldest people in the world and that they came from Atlantis, and that in the other book about Queen Mu and the Sphinx, of them talking about the colonies, the Mayan colony of people that went to Africa to settle that area. Please like this video if you haven't, and please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can know when I drop a new video. Thanks.